Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, my name is Ashton and I make faith videos here on YouTube. In today's video, we are going to be talking about all of the tools that I use during my Bible study time, and I'm also going to be sharing a few books that I'm reading right now. So if you're interested in seeing that, then just keep on watching. So before we get into the video, I just want to make sure that you know, if you're new here or if you haven't seen the updates in the community tab, I wanted to let you know that for the month of November, I am going live here on YouTube every day from 7:30 to 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we are going to study the book of Proverbs together. And that is why I wanted to make this video, because I wanted to share with you guys some of the tools that I'm going to be using as we study together, because this is going to be a little different than the videos that I make usually. Instead of coming on here and sharing with you guys things that I have already studied, we are going to be studying together. So I haven't read the whole book of Proverbs. I've read chapters here and there. I know specific verses, but I haven't gone through that whole book yet. So we're going to do it together. We're going to receive revelation together. We're going to learn together. And so I don't want you to think you need to have the same tools as me, but I'm just going to be telling you guys what I am going to be using as we study together. So let's get right into the resources that we use. So this is Bible study. So let's start with the Bibles that I am going to use. So the first Bible that I am going to be using is the Tony Evans Study Bible. Now I actually just recently got this because I didn't have a study Bible, and I think a study Bible is extremely helpful. So this Bible is full of a bunch of different features. There's different lessons and articles that are in here, as well as video devotionals that Tony Evans has made. There's application questions, but really what I love about this Bible is what it has at the beginning of each chapter. So in the introduction at the beginning of the Bible, it has the author, it has the historical background, what is the message and the purpose of the book, and then it also gives an outline of what happens in the book. And I think that's just extremely important before you start to study any book, that you really know the context, the history, the writer, so that you can really get a full idea of why the book was written, who it was written to, and when it was written, so that we don't take certain scriptures out of context. So this is one of the Bibles that I'm going to be using as we study together. The next Bible that I am going to be using, or that I have been using for the past few years, is my creative journaling Bible. And so I don't actually have that with me. I actually left it at work, but I'm gonna put a picture of it on the screen here. Now I love this Bible because it is actually a journaling Bible, and so you can write in the margins, and this is a Bible that I have fully, like, I color it in different highlighter colors. It's really the Bible that I feel the most creative with, whereas my study Bible, I probably won't highlight anything. I'll probably just underline it because I would like to keep that one more clean. But I love my creative journaling Bible because I can write in the margins, I can color code things, and it really helps things to like pop and stand out to me. And so that is in the Modern English Version, and I forgot to mention that the Tony Evans Study Bible is in the Christian Standard Version. The third Bible that I use is also the third Bible that I use is actually on my iPad, and I got it from Etsy. Whenever I put it on the screen, a lot of you guys ask where I got it from, so I will have the link in the description box below. And the reason why I love this Bible is because I can carry it on the go with me. It's also a journaling Bible, so I can use my Apple Pencil and just write in the Bible, highlight things, and then it also helps me be able to show you guys whenever I do Bible study videos what I'm actually reading and what I'm writing in the notes. And so that's why I love the Bible that I have here on my iPad. So now that we have gone through the Bibles, let's kind of get into some commentary type resources. And so the Tony Evans Study Bible also has commentary and some of his beliefs and things like that in that Bible. But also I use this book right here, which is called What the Bible is All About. It's a Bible handbook, an inspiring commentary on the entire Bible. And this was written by Dr. Henrietta C. Mears. And so this goes through every book of the Bible, and it just gives a lot of background information, commentary, and things like that. which is super helpful when you are studying the Bible, because it often gives you a different perspective or that you might have missed. So this has been extremely helpful in my studying of the Bible. So the next thing that I use to study the Bible is a notebook. So I think it's extremely important that you take notes when you are studying the Bible, because God is speaking. We call it the Word of God because it is literally how God speaks to us. And so you will always get new revelation. Even if you have read Proverbs 3 times, every time you read it, it should say something different to you, or it should reinforce something in your life. And so that's why it's so important to take notes. But I know that when I was starting out, I didn't know what to write down. And so I created a Bible study worksheet, which you can see over here. And it really just highlights a lot of important things that you need to write down, like names and places mentioned in the chapter that you read, what was the historical context, kind of like the things that are in the study Bible at the beginning, but just for that specific chapter, what's going on. Are you able to summarize it in your own words? Are there any key verses in this chapter? And then how can you apply what you learned to your life? So this Bible study worksheet is what I will actually be using as we go along together in the book of Proverbs, because I think it'll help if we are all kind of taking notes on the same thing and going in the same direction. So if you want to download that worksheet so that we can walk through that together, I will also have a link to that in the description box below, or feel free to just use a journal that you have around. So of course, like I said, I love to highlight and underline and write notes in my Bible. So make sure that you also have a highlighter and a pen of your choice. I'm not one of those person who needs to have like a fancy type of marker or a fancy type of pen. I really just pick up anything that I have, but I always love to make sure that I have a highlighter and a pen. So those are pretty much all of the resources that I have been using recently to study the Bible, and that I will be using as we study the book of Proverbs together. So now let's get into some of the books that I have been reading. All right, so the first book that I am reading currently is called 31 Prayers for My Future Husband, Preparing My Heart for Marriage by Praying for Him by Jennifer and Aaron Smith. And I actually picked this up from Hobby Lobby. I think it was like $7.79, and this is a really good book that helps me not only pray for my future husband, but put into perspective where I'm at in my own spiritual walk, and if I'm even the type of person, or if I'm even at a place where I'm ready, right? Am I even fulfilling these prayers? And so some of the prayers are like a prayer to help him resist temptation, a prayer that he will have integrity, prayer for his health, a prayer that he makes wise decisions. So this book really covers everything, and I think that it's definitely a great book for any woman who is in her single season. The next book that I'm reading is one that I have actually read before, but that I'm going back to, and this is Wholeness by Touré Roberts. And this is an amazing book. Every time I read it, it just gives me a punch in the gut, right? As I am pursuing wholeness, especially as a single woman, and just what it looks like to be whole and complete in myself before I even am ready to enter into a marriage with someone else. So this book, if you really want to be checked, if you really want to look in the mirror at yourself and ask yourself the hard questions about whether you are whole, or whether you have some empty pieces that you need to be filled by God, then you should definitely check out this book. The last book that I am reading is called The Circle Maker, and this is by Mark Batterson. It says praying circles around your biggest dreams and your greatest fears. Y'all, this book right here, this is the one. If you don't get any book that I just mentioned, get this one. I actually ordered this off of Amazon. I don't remember how much it was, but y'all, this book is so good. I'm not able to read as much of it as I want to because I've just been so busy, but everything that I have read in this book has been amazing, and it's truly changing my prayer life. So the premise of this book actually comes from the story in the Bible where the children of Israel circled the walls of Jericho 7 times and then it came down, right? And so it talks about circling our prayers, circling those things that God asked for until those walls come down, because so many of us pray one time and then we just leave it up to God. But what if he is calling you to circle your prayers? What if he is calling you to walk around that problem, to pray around that problem until you see a change? So this book will really change and challenge your prayer life. So that is it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you check the description box because it has a lot of important information and links to the resources that I mentioned in today's video. Also, if you are joining us for our live Bible studies in November and want to receive a text reminder every day when I'm getting ready to go live, then you can find information in the description box for that as well, for how to sign up for those texts. So I will see you guys next week in my next video. Bye.